How did this?
Hello, just give us a moment, please, Mr. Stenberg, just 1 second. All right, yes, Mr. Stenberg.
I'm just waiting for the application for probation deferred adjudication.
All right, we will make sure you get that. Ms.
It was
Ferguson.
sent. It was already sent, Judge. It should be in his email.
All right, it should be in your email, Mr. Stenberg. If
I
you'll go
just
to,
looked, it wasn't
all right,
there.
Mr. Stenberg, if you'll go back to breakout room number 2, Ms. Ferguson will meet you there. And where is your client?
In the breakout room. I
No.
told you.
It's not showing him in there anymore.
He's in 2, Judge.
Okay, all right, thank you. Who is the prosecutor on Lehman, please?
Tom is, or was, yeah, Tom is.
Judge, I can stand in on Lehman.
All right, thank you. All right, the court is in Brenna. There are 2 cases. And Mr. Steinberg, if you can go back to breakout room number 2, please.
Well, I still have not received anything.
Oh, if you go to the bottom of your computer, it should show breakout rooms.
Oh, but I don't have a application.
Yes, if you go there, Ms. Ferguson will show you where it is.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Brenna, it's going to be 2 cases for this. Court is calling 2021 CR 2969 and 2021 CR 2972, State of Texas versus Brandy Joe Lehman. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state? I don't hear you. Marcus, are you doing one of those things where you're talking?
Marcus Sanders.
Okay. All right, just 1 moment on the record. Mr. Stenberg, if you'll go to breakout room number 2, please.
Judge, can you send me an invite to that breakout room too as well?
All right, yes.
Breakout room, and it kicked me out back here. But I'll do it again.
All right, I'm sending you to number 1. Everybody go to number 1. Number 1, everyone. To the clerks, number 1. All right, Brennan. It is Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday. Everybody have patience in their pocket. We're back on the record. All right, we're proceeding by video. Any objections from the state?
No objection.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lehman, I'm going to show you 2 documents entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? And did you electronically sign them? You're on mute. If you could unmute for me, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. And each of these cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? And did you electronically sign them?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, in each of these cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled Discovery Acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in each of these cause numbers from the state? And did you review those documents with your attorney?
Yes.
I'm sorry, with your client.
Yes.
And each of the cause numbers, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Lehman, in each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review those documents with your attorney? And did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment in each of these cause numbers?
We do, Judge.
State in cause number 2021 CR 2969, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge, we're waiving count 1 as well as the repeat enhancement paragraph and the deadly weapon paragraph, proceeding on count 2 only.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
And state in cause number 2021 CR 2972. Are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Ms. Lehman, and each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? And did you electronically sign them in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
And cause number 2021 CR 2969, and count 2, you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison with a possible fine up to $10,000. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand in that cause number, if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And cause number 2021 CR 2972, you're charged with felony in possession of a firearm. That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, in that case, if your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court can find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And each of these cause numbers, if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
In each of these cause numbers, you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand by entering plea bargain agreement in each of these cause numbers, you were giving up those rights.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into plea bargain agreements in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, in each of these cause numbers, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Judge. We
And
just,
each of the cause numbers, do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
she does.
And each of the cause numbers, do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
She was, Judge, and both these offenses, I believe, involved another defendant that's already been sentenced.
And Ms. Lehman, and each of the cause numbers, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter your plea?
No, ma'am.
And each of the cause numbers, has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
And each of the cause numbers, are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
And each of the cause numbers, are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Then in each of the cause numbers, the court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. In each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled plea bargain page. Did you review those pages with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement in 2021 CR 2969, the state is proceeding on count 2 only. And both of the cause numbers, the state is asking that your punishment be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison. And both of the cause numbers, the state is opposing your application for community supervision or deferred adjudication. Each of these cause numbers are to run concurrently. And each of the cause numbers, the state is taking in consideration 2021 CR 3211, 2021 CR 3212, 2021 CR 2970, and 2021 CR 2971. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if everyone could give me 1 moment, please. All right, I'm sorry, we're back on the record. All right, defense, did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Lehman?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, in each of these cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal. Did you review those documents? Ms. Lehman, did you review that paragraph?
Yes, ma'am.
With your attorney, did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
None, Your Honor.
Then Ms. Lehman, and cause number 2021 CR 2969, account 2. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
And in cause number 2021 CR 2972, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? I think her system froze. All right, well, we get that solved. Greg Demarie,
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you doing, ma'am?
great.
I can wait until the end of the docket. I apologize. I just had 2 issues and didn't know if you wanted to see a Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. Okay. All right. Just
I've got, okay. I can
Oh,
wait.
no. Just one second. Who do you have?
Judge, it's that Ed Treese Durant, and it was a violation on his ignition interlock, so you've issued a warrant. He has called me and said, I can show how it happened. I said, Judge has issued a warrant, but in my due diligence here, I said, you know what? We'll see if the judge wants to entertain this, because if he does it again, it's going to be another violation, but he wanted to show you what had happened that he had been drinking. So,
All right. I'll send you to breakout room number 2. And
Okay.
if a prosecutor is available, I'm sure they'll come and speak with you.
thank you, ma'am.
All right. And since there's an issue of drinking, I'm imagining this is criminal trial division. I'll send you to breakout room number 2. And Richard, something happened with your client's phone, so I'm hoping they're going to zoom back in.
I know
So
she was having a problem with the charger on her bracelet.
okay. There she is. All right, no problem, Miss Lehman. Can you unmute?
Yes, I was frozen.
Yes, no problem. All right, in cause number 2021 CR 2972, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, in each of these motions, do you have any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, Judge. State offers State's Exhibit 1 and its attachments for each cause separately.
We have no objections, Your Honor.
Ms. Lehman, in each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you a document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? Did you electronically sign them in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements, police reports, lab reports, and judgments? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then in each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. In each of the cause numbers, the court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Okay, so I still have it, but I'm still in court right now.
All right. In each of the cause numbers, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Norma, I'll need a date for a PSI, and Rebecca, she will need a TAP evaluation.
Before, yeah,
Give me 1 second.
Just give us one moment.
okay.
Judge, I can do the 28th or the 3rd, the 29th.
All right, the 28th. Mr. Langlois, is that okay with you?
What month? December?
No, no, September.
September? Okay. And Judge, my client has last several weeks been communicating with different organizations for help. And she's talked to Lifeline Recovery. She's started up some type of business. She's looking to go to a cosmopolitan school. She's talked to Alpha Home that's willing to accept her. And she's been on monitor, full house arrest for quite some time. And she'd like to know whether or not you could allow her to further her ability to find treatment programs. I know you probably may suggest some also, but she's also got an appointment on September 2nd, I believe, with ORS, which would provide them with her with financial assistance to get rehabilitation.
All right, so here's the issue though. Where we are is, Ms. Lehman, I don't know what I'm going to do with your case. I have to receive information to make a decision on whether I'm going to grant you deferred or not, whether I'm going to grant you regular probation or not, or whether I'm going to send you to prison. So I know that many a time people see the light and try to do things as, you know, things have already happened, right? So honestly, I can't have you in a situation where, I don't know, maybe you're in inpatient treatment somewhere and I have not made a decision on your application. I think it's probably safest for you to remain on GPS.
Okay.
If there is some sort of treatment where you need to go, or you need to be, then you can ask for permission for that. Your attorney can ask for permission for that and we can see. But I need to make sure that there are no side detours when you're going someplace, right?
Okay.
So if I have someone on GPS and they say they're going to a medical appointment, and let's say their medical appointment is downtown and they live downtown, I don't want them taking a sidetrack to SeaWorld or somewhere else and saying, well, you know. So I need for you to make sure that you give that information to your attorney. And then I'll always consider and keep an open mind. But you're going to need to appear in court on September 28th at 9 a.m. for sentencing. It's the 187 District Court, 300 De La Rosa. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what date is your sentencing?
September 28th.
What time?
Was it September 28th or 29th, Judge?
28th.
28th, okay.
Okay. What time
At 9 a.m.,
and which court?
187th.
All right. And so sometimes that's the most important thing to remember, because sometimes people will forget, is it 300 De La Rosa, not 300 De La Rosa? But if you always remember that you need to be in the 187 District Court, whenever you come to any one of the courthouses downtown, they will say, oh, I know where that is. So that's why it's important for you to remember that, okay?
Um,
In-person hearing or Zoom hearing?
No, she needs to be in person.
Okay. And counsel too?
No, you can appear by Zoom if you choose, but she'll need to be in court in person.
I'll probably be there in person.
All right, so the next thing that's going to happen, we're going to go off the record. I'm going to send you to a breakout room, Ms. Lehman, so you can speak with probation. It's very important that you make every Zoom interview with probation, because I'm going to base my decision on your application based upon what probation tenders to me and any other evidence that's presented.
Ask you a question.
Yes.
I did get approved to go to the Alpha House and I can start as early as next week. Do I need to wait till I'm done with this?
It'll probably be best for you to speak with your attorney, and your attorney will file a motion. And when you say you're supposed to be going to Alpha House next week, when is next week? When next week?
Sorry.
What day?
I'm not sure exactly the date. I'd have to look it up. I have to look
right.
at the paper, but
Yes, so I mean, give that information to your attorney. Your attorney will file a motion, present it to the court, and I'll let you know if I'll allow it or not.
Okay.
But
Thank
in the
you.
meantime, my understanding is that you can do NA meetings or AA meetings by Zoom. And a lot of treatment places are allowing you to do things by Zoom.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna send you to breakout room number 3. Just wait there for probation. They have another case they have to listen to, and after that, they'll come to number 3 to go over conditions and tell you what you need to do, all right?
thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Manuel Gutierrez. All right, let me see where they are.
Mayor,
Who's the prosecutor on this case?
I am, Judge.
All right, thank you. Judge Stenberg, you need to show your video.
I was tying my tie. I'm teasing. I'm
Okay,
teasing. I was not.
well, you know, I say whatever your story is, make sure you hold on to that story.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To everyone, that was something that happened off camera. All right. The court is calling 2020 CR 2540 State of Texas versus Manuel Gutierrez. Could I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Meredith McIntyre for the state.
for the defense?
Joe Stenberg.
And are you Manuel Gutierrez?
I am, ma'am, Manny Gutierrez.
We're proceeding by video. Any objections from the state?
No, Judge.
Any objections from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I understand it.
All right, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I talked to him about it and I signed it. I agree.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, sir.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Next, Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, the state waives count 1 and is proceeding on count 2 of the indictment.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you
Yes,
what's
ma'am.
entitled Court's Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I understand it also.
All right, what you're charged with in count 2 is possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, more than 400 grams. The range of punishment for that offense is a minimum of 10 years up to 99 years or life in prison with a possible fine up to $100,000. Did you understand that as the range of punishment?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement? If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement or gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could sentence you up to life in prison and up to $100,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gutierrez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, not yet, ma'am. No.
Well, I
Sorry,
mean, no, not yet. I mean,
No,
I don't know what's going
no.
to happen in the future, but as we
Sorry.
speak now,
No,
has
ma'am.
anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,500 fine. State opposes your application for community supervision or deferred adjudication. And there's to be restitution to San Antonio Police Department for drug testing. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
ma'am.
so sorry. Brenda, it has been a long day, right? I'm so sorry. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and did you understand that to be the entirety of the plea bargain agreement? And so the record can be clear. The
Yes,
state
ma'am.
is proceeding on count 2. You threw me off when you said that you haven't been
yet.
coerced at this time. So
Sorry.
Well,
no problem. So according to the plea bargain agreement, state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,500 fine. The state is opposing your application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. And there's to be restitution to San Antonio Police Department for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
yes, ma'am.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, next I'm going to show you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor, except this is a no contest, therefore.
Oh, I haven't asked him for his plea yet.
All right,
All right.
Thank you.
So, so there have been no motions that have been filed, heard,
correct,
and ruled upon? All right.
correct.
Then Mr. Gutierrez, to count 2 and the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
All right, state any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, are you okay? Who are you looking off to the side at?
No, I'm good, I'm good.
All right.
I had a little gnat in my eye. I was trying to take it off.
All right, who's there with you?
Just my wife.
Okay. All right, state, what are you offering into evidence?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any
No.
objections?
None,
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm going to show you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am, I read that.
Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and will review the same.
And Your Honor, is this where we make the changes to the waiver, consent to stipulation of testimony?
Yes. Well, you should have done it before I admitted it, but if there's no objection.
But somebody
Just one
stepped
second.
on my tongue.
Just a second. State, do you have any objections? Because it appears that defense wants their client to plead no contest, and they want certain wording changed in the waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations document. Mainly the part where he judicially confesses and admit. The defense wants to change that to no contest. Do you have any objection to that?
No, Judge.
And then where it says the allegations are true and correct, the defense would like that to read are not contested. Do you have any objections?
No, Judge.
Anything else, Mr.
Yes,
Stenberg?
right before the oath, where it says the recitations are true and correct, we do not contest that the recitations are true and correct.
Any objections, defense?
The state doesn't object, Judge.
I'm sorry, that is the state. Thank you, Meredith. It seems like it's been a longer day than usual, Brenna. I don't know. All right, then the court will review states exhibits 1 and attachments. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. And the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty of count 2, but defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Defense, is the TAP evaluation going to be needed?
I'm not sure.
All right, Norma, can I have a date for sentencing?
Yes, ma'am. I can do the 28th, Judge.
I'm sorry, what date?
The 28th?
All right. Mr. Gutierrez, we're going to be back on September 28th at 9 a.m. At that time, the court will make a decision on your application. You'll need to be present in the courtroom. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa on the 4th floor. It's the 187 District Court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what date do you need to be in the courtroom?
September 28th, 9 o'clock on the 4th floor, 187.
All right, thank you. We're going
Thank
to
you very
close.
much, ma'am.
You're welcome. We're going to close the record. I'm going to send you to a breakout room. Probation will tell you what you need to do.
Yes,
So I'm going to
ma'am.
send
And
you to breakout room number 3.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Stenberg, I'll send you to 3.
Thank you.
All right, Greg,
I'm sorry, Judge, were you gonna do the tap after all on him?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and do the tap evaluation.
Okay, I was gonna mark it anyway.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Greg, what's going on with your?
So I talked with Hunter, Judge, and I think he wanted to request the VR report.
Okay, and I think the clerks may have that report.
Is that right, Hunter?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. I think the clerks may have that report.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me get it, Judge.
Thank you. Norma, do you know what happened with Kenneth Williams?
With who, Judge?
For some reason, I have a file back here for Kenneth Williams. Is that on the docket today or was it pulled by
Give me
accident?
1 second.
I'll put the cause number in the chat box to you.
That's the same client as the, for Gary Turek.
Okay.
It got reset for August 26th.
No, that's Jermac Williams. Is it the same person?
It's the same person.
Ah. And then on David Morales. Is that coming back on a different date, Norma? Is that the coming back for tomorrow?
You told me for tomorrow, Judge. I just don't know for what.
Oh, it's coming back tomorrow for a ruling on their Brady issue.
Okay.
All right, Eduardo Jimenez, where is your client? Mr. Roy Ferguson.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Ferguson has not. I've called him twice, and I have also texted him twice, and he's not made contact with me. Although I did, as I mentioned before, he texted me at about 9:30 in the morning that he was trying to get on and not having success or not.
All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm recalling this for tomorrow. Your
Okay.
client either needs to be on this Zoom at 9 a.m. or in court.
Yes, Judge.
And
Okay.
Mr. Jimenez, I'm gonna need you to be on Zoom either at 9 a.m. or in court.
Yes, ma'am. I
All right,
understand.
thank you.
Thank you, Judge. All right.
And Greg, is your client in custody?
No, Judge, he's not on bond, Judge.
All right, on this case, unless the state is going to agree to something, your client will need to appear, Mr. Demarier. See, I'm so used to calling you Greg Damaris.
Judge, you
Now
can just say
switched it up.
Damaris. You can just say Damaris, where you at?
All right, I appreciate that because it is so hard. Do you know there was a person I worked with? Let me call her by the wrong name for 2 years. And then finally, she introduces herself to someone else and she's like, oh, I'm Alexandra. And I'm like, and I've been calling you Alexandria all this time. I said,
Oh.
do you know how many extra syllables that is?
No, everyone knows me as Damaris, but then when my kids, again, got to be, 14, 15, and they started hearing their names and no one could pronounce it, like, why don't we just pronounce it the right way, Damaris? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, okay, Damaris.
But Damaris, Judge, you know that.
Okay.
So the problem is, Judge, I can zoom in, but I can tell him to appear in court. But whatever you need, of course.
All right. Because this is the second violation report for him.
Yes, ma'am. And was there no warrant issued? I thought we were going to issue a warrant. Are we? But
No, we did. I did issue a judge's warrant because
Okay.
this was the second one.
and he says
So-
he's got a plausible reason. He was going to take video of it, but had issued another hot. So I was trying to do a Mythbusters, 3:30 right after Laverne and Shirley, and
I remember Mythbusters. All right, so he'll need to be in court. We can recall this. When can we recall this, Norma? on the violation report?
When is he coming in? When is he?
I can ask him to come in tomorrow, Judge. If that's okay. You guys got a busy docket?
Yeah, you can have him come in tomorrow.
Okay. All right, we
Yes,
will
ma'am.
take this up tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, have a great one.
You too.
All right,
Hunter, thank you.
Everyone, I'm going to stop live stream and we will be back on Friday at 9 a.m. Okay, who is saying, huh? And Richard Langlois I think he just likes to be with us. All right, everyone. I'm going to stop live stream now and see what happens on Friday. So everybody can say their goodbyes now.